Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
And you're listening to this thing on the Believe Podcast Network. Travis, last time we talked to the divers and the Duval Devout, such as we do. We've got to include the Devout because on Wednesday it became the fullback dive. Shouts to Big Game James Den Media Group for jumping in with us. But in that, we evaluated, as I so keenly put it, because and listen, I know, Kyle, it's an excuse to use the graphic. You're damn right. We evaluated all the height surrounding those that question and pull for a Jaguars a pullback for your pardon expression, right? And we went so far as to show that a Jaguars analyst we've had on this show, shouts to Cam Wolf, has a tweet associated with him that tags him that says, "Don't be surprised if the Houston Texans make the Super Bowl." To which I replied, for what, the halftime show? Anyways, I was proud of that. Anyways, but just so you don't think, oh, well, that's just pro-Texans, there's no way that anybody's hating on the Jags that much. Well, first of all, I would remind you of Richard Sherman and Kevin Wiles that say it's cool not to watch Jaguar games. But this abomination that's out there, by the way, shouts to Brent James. You're my dude. But how dare you waste my time with these people stealing money from us with evaluation like this, who on their own TikTok profile dare to question your audience and asking, do you know ball? Fool, you clearly don't. Yeah. Picking the Jags at 6-11 in the year of our Lord 2026.
54,000 subscribers on their TikTok, and their branding is "Do you know ball?" when they obviously do not. That is crazy. But yeah, they predicted that the Jacksonville Jaguars will have a 2026 season of regression and end the season with that 6-11, which is just
isn't
wild.
Regression. I'm going to say collapse. That's not regression. That's collapse. And by the way, among their picks, oh yeah, they'll definitely lose to the Patriots. Stop it. You done invited Janet Jackson to this party and thinks he's not going to expose something. Okay, that's a you problem, dog. Maybe the party doesn't have a halftime show in it. Okay.
So at the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars make a lot of folks look real silly this year. And I'm not
picks at 6-11. You show Will. Sorry.
And you know me, I'm not that guy.
Honorary, and it has to be worked out. If that happens, I will buy a "This Team Makes Me Drink" shirt. Okay.
The only way the Jaguars end that season at 6-11 is if Trevor Lawrence is hurt. That's the only way I see it. That's literally I didn't say that's a way. I said that is the only way that I see it. So if you're discounting that, then I don't see a world that's going to happen. And yeah, I think the Jaguars are going to make a lot of folks look silly this year. And again, I'm not that guy. I don't generally have confidence and faith and things like that. I watch the tape and I evaluate that, and that's kind of where I live. But I just think the Jaguar fans believe the haters are wrong, and they have a lot of reasons too. And we just kind of wanted to lay out the opposite side of the conversation that we had on Wednesday, and let's kind of have the real conversation of where this team is and where all the good things to celebrate that exist on this Jacksonville Jaguars roster. And coaching
I have not appropriately used all of the graphics, right? First of all, 6-11. Okay. 6-11. Really? Okay.
All right. So let's get into it, man. The fact of the matter is the Jacksonville Jaguars, your 2026 Jacksonville Jaguars, have a top 10 play caller in Liam Coen, which is just ridiculous. Like, I don't think it's even arguable at this point. That's the funniest part about it. Even if you talk to the biggest hater out there, they'll probably say, nah, Liam Coen's probably up there in the top 10. Like, so if you have the head coach, and that head coach also calls plays on offense, then you have the offensive coordinator. Those are two of the hardest things to find generally. Oh yeah, that's right. And you also have the quarterback. Then you're probably going to your base is 500. That's for most NFL teams, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars starting conversation before we even get into anything else. So, like, from that perspective, you already starting off in a great spot. Just don't fumble the bag. I think that's why I say if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get hurt, that's the only thing that I can see taking me off that kind of thing. So the Jaguars are already going in a great spot, just starting with Liam Coen, the way that they flipped this locker room and the way his leadership has kind of flipped everything up from the Doug Peterson regime. And the fact that you have Trevor Lawrence paired with that guy, what are we talking about? Those are my top. That's not my top issue. Those are my top two things. Liam Coen as one, Liam Coen with Trevor Lawrence, that's two. Both of them dudes together, that's a great situation just waiting to happen. And we kind of saw the end of the 2025 season. Hopefully it's going to be the same thing in 2026.
Wonder Twin powers activate. Something like that.
I mean, sure.
By our powers combined?
I don't know.
No, wait, that's a different graphic. Sorry, that's for running the ball.
Yes, running the damn ball. Yeah. Not exactly the same, but we up there. But then you got Anthony Campanelli. Like let's get into that, because we give so much credit in all the conversations surrounding the coaching staff. A lot of that to Liam Coen, rightfully so. He's the head coach and the OC. But Anthony Campanelli, and I said it to you actually in the green room before we started this bad boy. Anthony Campanelli is a top 10 defensive coordinator. So if you feel great about Liam Coen and that he's going to be able to right the ship no matter what happens, even if you lost Travis Etienne, even if they're not right with the receiving room in 2025, even if the offensive line is not playing, even if all the reasons, if you feel like he's going to get you right because he's just that offensive mind, then you have to probably feel the exact same way about Anthony Campanelli. No, like he's shown you his ability to be that linebacker whisperer. He's shown you what he did with Quay Walker and then what he did with Devin Lloyd, despite none of us believing in Devin Lloyd. I'm speaking to, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, I'm talking to you. You ain't believing Devin Lloyd either. Let's be honest about that. Before last season. And then we see an all-pro season. And now we're like, oh, Devin Lloyd ain't going to be here. Hey, man, if you believe in Camp, then he's shown you what he can do. I'm going to believe in him with Ben Trevor, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to believe in him to whoever's the next crop behind that. But if you believe in Liam Coen, you probably should be believing in Campanelli. And I think, who was it? Daniel Rios over at Essentially Sports. He also ranked, just I want folks to know, this is not like a Duval centric opinion. This is not a local teal shades wearing, teal Kool-Aid drinking opinion that Anthony Campanelli is a top 10 defensive coordinator. I actually think he had him low on his list because he had him ranked at 10th. But I think, Anthony Campanelli is absolutely a top 10 defensive coordinator leading the number one run stopping defense in 2025.
You said it right there.
Yeah.
How can your group be number one stopping the run and not a top 10 guy?
And number two in turnovers.
Thank you for the addition there, sir. Absolutely. I know. It's Wusa, Guru Sraba. Gotta rub the earlobes. I got you. Nah. So, bro, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so when you talk about the fact that we've just opened the show talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars having a top 10 play caller, a top 10 quarterback, and a top 10 defensive coordinator, and I'm not 100% sure that any of those three things are arguable. Like, you might say, all right, one of these guys may be 11. Whatever, man. Like whatever. Talk to your mom. Argue with your mom. I don't care. My point is, all three of those guys are top third of the NFL, top, fourth of the NFL, some of them. You're in a great spot. Those are your main things that's going to make you have a successful season in most NFL rosters. And that's before we even get into the actual roster part of the conversation. Come on, bro. Let's do this. Wait. There's more?
More. How much more? But that's it. Like, you have the NFL's deepest wide receiver room. And we talked about that, you and I. We talked about that early this offseason when we had the Ranking the Wide Receivers podcast, I believe, with Jordan DeLugo, just kind of going through the differences. Like, the Jaguars wide receiver room may not necessarily be top heavy because we don't know who's going to be that number one guy. And that is both questionable, but also okay, because the way that Liam Coen calls plays, a lot of it's like, all right, cool. You put your best corner on our number one guy. Who's our number one guy? You tell me today. Who's going to be our number one guy today? Are you putting him on Brian Thomas Jr.? That's fine. We have a Parker Washington. We'll just give him 10 targets.
Shoot, Parker there somewhere.
Amen. You have your other corner. You want to double our other wide receiver. You want to put your number one on Brian Thomas Jr. and double Parker Washington. That's fine. oh, we'll just destroy you down the field with Jacoby Myers over and over and over again with that old man game that he got sitting in the chamber. Or maybe we'll just put Travis Hunter out there and just have him one-on-one with the safety out of the slot. Good luck trying to figure that out. And that's the whole point of all this. It's like, it's not the fact that they're the best wide receiver room when you talk about the top two guys, but they're undoubtedly and without question the deepest. And what do you do about that unless you have 5 to 6 guys in your secondary to stop that? That's a headache, bro. That is a headache from a roster standpoint. Come on.
Wide receiver depth.
How good is that?
Wide receiver depth. and then we haven't even gotten to the secondary. Like we're just talking about the skill positions, because that's something that I will absolutely say on some level I'll give Doug Peterson a little bit of credit for, because they consistently kind of kept dipping their toes in the water as far as keep bringing these skill guys in, but they couldn't get the trenches. We'll get into that later. But yeah, secondary. Jarian Jones, Travis Hunter, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, like all those guys. I know I'm missing some names, obviously, but you have one of the deepest secondaries in Jacksonville that I've seen probably since 2017. And I'm not saying that they are 2017. To be clear, that 2017 secondary was ridiculous and they were awesome. And
Boye and Ramsey is not a duo that you have, shall we say, reimagined here with this group. It's not like that.
I don't want to argue that they're better. I'm simply saying I think this is probably the deepest secondary that they've had since that time.
Exactly. It's that same thing. They may not be as top heavy. I named the top 2 guys. Below that is a different game there. You know, Buster Brown getting paid because he did what he did. Antonio Johnson being talked about breakout. What was the stat I think I saw across your Twitter account? He's given up 2 touchdowns in like 1,000 snaps.
I think it was 2 touchdowns in his career. It was something like that.
His career of 1,000 or so snaps.
1,000 something snaps. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's wild. And so you're talking about that guy in a secondary with Eric Murray, who's already a great floor raiser at minimum, with Caleb Bransall, who may be able to raise that floor or at minimum, he's going to push Eric Murray to make sure he doesn't fall off so Father Time doesn't show up, with goodness gracious, Jalen Husky. But right there in the wings, at minimum, developing. Like, you have so many guys in that safety room, and then you talk about the cornerback room with Travis Hunter and Montero Brown. And if that's your floor, what are we talking about? Like, that's a great starting point. That's a great situation for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. And folks are like, well, you can't say this team's going to be bad. Show me in these areas that I've already mentioned so far as we continue going through this thing, where is the struggle there if it's not injury? I don't see it. Like, I'm not the positive guy, but this ain't hard to see that this Jacksonville Jaguars team is stacked in a lot of ways in the most important places, if that makes sense.
You don't hear me arguing.
All right, cool. Because we got the top 2 play callers on both sides of the ball. We got the quarterback of the offense. The quarterback of the defense is basically Foye. But and he's in a great situation. Or you want to get into the safety room? They're good there. They're deep there. The cornerback room, they're good there. They're deep there. They probably man up with most teams out there, bruh. Where is the issue with any of this? And we'll just keep going down that list. Like, as many folks have their questions or their concerns about who James Gladstone is and what his drafts are going to be, you can't tell me that dude ain't aggressive. You can't tell me they don't have a Pitbull on the chain just waiting to make a trade. I dare you. I dare you to sneeze. If you sneeze, I swear we're gonna lock it in. I'm trading you a 7th rounder for this random dude that nobody heard of because he's going to be my starting linebacker this year. I don't know. That dude is ready to make a trade. And that's the point. Like, folks get in their feelings sometimes because they'll hear the Jaguars are involved in this trade and involved in that trade, or, they're involved in this, or they're called on this guy or whatever it is. But I'm like, yeah, that just means you have a very busy GM who's always going to he's always going to be on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But he's going to, at least that's his job. You should want to be associated with basically every single transaction. But more importantly, he's in sync with the coaching staff. So if they're like, hey man, check, look into this, and he's doing it, what's the problem here? You got a staff that's good at their job, which you've already established. We got to be in agreement here. Top 10 play caller, top 10 DC, and you got an aggressive GM who's ready to make the phone call on behalf of that top 10 play caller and that top 10 DC, and willing to give, hey, I'll trade you this fourth down throwaway mid-round pick next year because I think we're going to put this guy in a great position to be our next Jacoby Myers.
Oh, he's calling. You said the word trade more than 3 times on the show.
Not James Gladstone is the boogeyman or Candyman. If you say his name 3 times, a trade's going to pop up. That's it. Oh, Lord, that's good, bro. We're going to have to reuse that one. So he's in sync with the rest of the staff, which is something that no matter the good or the ills of Trent Baalke, you could never say that. It's never in sync with what's going on with the rest of these guys. And the fact of the matter is they have they're in sync now, synchronicity across the roster. That's a great situation.
They are synchronized in a way that Littlefinger never was. And the biggest piece of all of this is why are folks acting like this is a crazy statement to say this is a wide the hell open AFC. That is the biggest piece about all of this. Like, as much as we talked about James Gladstone and folks wanting him to do something with the roster and everything else, what he's done has already made them a pretty religious contender right now. Between all the trades, between all the moves and all of that, and whatever the draft class becomes, it's going to become. But this is a wide open AFC, and this is the guys over at Roto-World put together the odds of each team winning the AFC this season, and it's never looked like this. Like right now, as we're talking, the Baltimore Ravens have the best odds at plus 500. For one, the Chiefs not at the top says a butt ton already. Like right. The Chiefs are third. The Bills are second, plus 510. Chiefs are plus 770. Chargers at plus 830. I mean, you got the Jaguars all the way down at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th at plus 1500. And again, these are the best odds. So a $20 bet would get you $300 on the Jaguars winning the Super Bowl this year. And I'm sitting there like, if that ain't wide open, I don't know what else is. Like we're used to seeing the same 3 teams winning the Super Bowl or making it to the Super Bowl on the AFC side for the last decade. Like if you look at the list of Super Bowl attendance participants over the last 10 years, it's been 3 teams on the AFC side, 4 teams, I'm sorry, on the AFC side, right? The Patriots, Chiefs, Bengals. Damn, did I say 4? I know it is 3. It's 3. It is 3. And what's funny is there's only one team that's been there only once in the form of Joey Burr and the Bengals. And since then, that defense has been but a fraction of its previous self.
So don't be the Bengals is what I'm hearing about this.
That's
like
what you're hearing.
Don't make it there once and then never make it there again. But the fact of the matter, it's been 3 teams on the AFC side. The NFC has been wide open. Like if anything, like multiple teams have made it twice, but none of those guys made it 3 times. And that's the craziest part about it is like the Jaguars have an opportunity. There is no question. And they also have I always say they have a puncher's chance of making it just because they are a threat. You can tell by the skill positions that we've already talked about that they are.
If you get rid of the team with no defense and a quarterback that hasn't finished a season in at least, I think, 2, probably 3 years, I have to look it up specifically. And I'm saying the Bengals, the Jaguars being in the odds at a playoff position is a completely new development because they're 9th behind the Bengals, who again, I don't know how you can. They're assuming health. Is all obviously because they didn't get enough on defense. I don't care what they did in the draft.
Yeah, but they never do. I mean, I don't even know that the offensive line is going to work well enough for him to not get injured again, as that's always the conversation for the Bengals. But nevertheless, the Jaguars are behind. Or maybe it's just a general Vegas thing where they're just like the money. And people are going to believe in that team just because
they're moving with the shall we say behaviors of the public, and the public will move toward Joey Burr. That is a thing they'll do to their credit.
So this is a Trevor Lawrence standing and nothing more. And despite the fact that Trevor Lawrence was incredible to end the season last year, other than the playoff game, and even the playoff game, he was still really dang good for 2 of the quarters and just
If
those early turnovers.
Exactly. Well, it's the late one, I think, the late throw that has more to do with than anything else, even though a lot of that is Walker Little, but we talked about that at nauseum on this point.
That first quarter interception was rough too. I mean, I can't just say it was. Yeah. You can't do that. But
no, I didn't say it was mistake free. But we're going to sit here and let Liam Coen off the hook for doing the thing that the
run the
Seahawks
ball.
didn't do. And no, take the points.
Take the points, run the ball. Take the points, run the ball. You can't average 6 yards a carry and not keep running the ball. We talked about that at nauseam. But at the end of the day, you can still be a great coordinator, and we just disagree with a call or a few calls in a game. It is what it is. But overall, you got a wide open opportunity. You got a top 10 play caller, a top 10 DC, deep wide receiver room, a deep secondary for you to play with if you're that top 10 DC, and an aggressive GM that's going to probably make a boatload of moves in the season to make sure you're in a good situation. Oh yeah. And you're also kind of winning on the margins. And by winning on the margins, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about that guy there, not Parker Washington. I'm talking Heath Farwell, the special teams coordinator who also coaches Parker Washington at punt return, and Cam Little kicking those long, ridiculous NFL record field goals multiple times. Oh yeah, and Logan Cook also being a top punter, let's say top 7 punter in the NFL.
Buddy,
bro,
I'm gonna say this because I know you're on a roll, but I'm gonna say the thing.
Cool.
Okay. We mentioned other coaches, specifically Camp and Coen.
Yep.
Top 10.
Yep.
If you have 3 Pro Bowlers, aren't you a top 10 coach?
Well, 3 Pro Bowlers, because Cam Little was a special team snub. He's a record holder.
He's a Pro Bowl caliber kicker. I said what I said.
Caliber, sure. Until the Bills game happened. Caliber, sure. I will agree with you.
The results are out by the way.
That was a troll. I know that was a troll. I'm sorry.
Totally
For the audio listeners, there was a smile after that.
You landed it real good. No, you did a great job. But for those that are listening on the audio who didn't see your smile, have to know that you know that it was already out by then.
I know. That was a small little.
You did a great job. You landed that plane real nice. I ain't gonna diss you, but I just again for the audio people that didn't see your delivery land the way that.
If you have a top, Parker Washington would have been a Pro Bowler for punt return if he didn't get hurt.
Correct.
And that's the worst part about it because the Tennessee Titans return ended up getting it, and Parker Washington was ahead of him in average punt returns at the time.
People vote for the highest yards because they always punt
because they don't, and they're not looking at the specifics because Parker Washington also had 2 punt return touchdowns also. Yeah, he easily, if he doesn't get hurt, he probably gets in the Pro Bowl, or it's a lot closer. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So between the punt return for Parker Washington, between Cam Little being nationally recognized finally for his multiple NFL record long field goals, and Logan Cook just being Logan Cook, and then yes, Ross Madisick, the long snapper, additionally is a multi-time All-Pro.
So
Pro
you're
Bowler.
telling me 4 Pro Bowl caliber individuals coached by Heath.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the coaching is the strength of this Jacksonville Jaguars team. If you're playing Madden and you're giving me all the ratings and the rankings of every position group, and then on the side you're giving me the rankings of the coaches are 95. Like we're up there. And again, that's not me saying this because I'm in the media and I talk to these guys and all this other nonsense. Like, because I need folks to understand how
you've gotten phone calls for saying something they don't like. I'm just saying.
I crap on guys I don't believe in, and I would pat dudes on the back who I do. And I talked about it on Wednesday's pod with Big Game when I'm saying I do the same thing. I try my best to distance myself from the players so I can judge the film accurately. And I do the same thing with the coaches. Even though I talk to these guys, I try my best to make sure I am judging my statements based on what they do on the film.
And here's what I know you're going to do, right? With all this talk of ratings and things like that, if they come out here with as many flags as they were getting last year, you're going to go work and let them know that it's wrong. You know, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's truly that simple. So at the end of the day, like you do have multiple Pro Bowl, like if I say Pro Bowl caliber, coach of the year caliber type coaches in multiple position groups right now. You have one of them applying to be a head coach I say one of them, two of them.
Two of
If you're
them.
talking about Grant Udinski. I haven't even talked about Grant Udinski at all.
Didn't touch Grant Udinski.
Didn't even touch him. And that's the funniest part about all of this. So like across the board, the coaching is going to be there, and they're more likely than not going to put the guys in the right position. You have a stacked secondary, you have a stacked receiver room. From a skill position standpoint, you're going to have all the flexibility and the fluidness to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. Oh yeah, and you also can do the same thing for special teams purposes. They claim to have the guys that they want, if you believe them at their word, from what they brought in from the general manager. So I'm willing to believe that, I think that this team is going to make these people look really dumb because they don't pay attention to the small stuff. Like they don't watch the games. They ain't paying attention to the details of the draft. They ain't paying attention to the details of the offseason. And it's going to end up that this Jacksonville Jaguars team going to F around and be like another 13-win team. And they're going to be like, wait, what the hell just happened?
You know, when I saw that 6-11 prediction, here we go.
You are the dumbest effing MFer I've ever seen. You don't know S. How in the world can you even have a job? How can you even have a family? You're a moron. You're an idiot. You're a effing dumb effer. How could you even have that opinion? Go die.
I mean, I had to sick Frank on him. I had to do it, Travis. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong. Here's a guy who doesn't know ball. It is what it is. But I mean, the game isn't won or lost on tape. On these tapes, the game isn't won or lost on these ledgers and on these predictions. It's only lost and won on the film. It's only lost and won on the grass. And at the end of the day, that's all we can do is say, I think these people are wrong. I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars fans also believe that these people are just hating and they're not actually accurately evaluating the film. Hopefully the Jaguars prove them right, and hopefully the Jaguars stay healthy. And I believe that they will be a for the first time since 98-99, be a back-to-back playoff team. And that will be pretty awesome for the Jacksonville Jaguars fans who are going to be losing some home games next year with this team getting that stadium worked on.
I'm looking forward to the t-shirt you design when that happens. I'll put it that way.
That's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Speaking of, this is another shirt from the Duval Dive Spotify store.
Printify. Yeah.
Printify. Well, yes.
I mean, go to Spotify too and listen to the Duval Dive podcast. There's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you hit Printify as well to get Travis's excellent t-shirt design. So with that in mind, Travis D. Holmes, champion, tell the world where you can be found.
Oh, you already know. BigCatCountry.com is where my writing can be found, and always support local journalism. Always click the link. Even if you don't read it, I don't care. Click the link. And that's for me. That's for BigCatCountry.com. If you can't read, I mean, feel free to have your local librarian read you the article. They nice like that. You know how it is.
Exactly.
But over on the audio side, obviously, please help us out and rate and review this thing. It helps us grow tremendously. It helps us with the algorithm, the AI, and all that background stuff. Somehow the robots pay us. So if y'all just keep clicking that follow button and clicking the like button on YouTube and the hype button and all of the, hey man, I don't understand this stuff. I'm old, y'all. But you know what it is. Like button, hype button. Somehow it supports us, and we always love our supporters. If you want to be a member, you have early access to every pre-recorded podcast. So please, consider that. It costs you over the month of same cost of a cup of coffee, bro. Like, come on, get it done. But yeah, BigCatCountry.com, Travis D. Holmes on all the socials, Duval Dive on TikTok, on X, and all the places, man. But if you're here, we appreciate you. Thank you for chopping it up with us, and let them know where you can be found, bro.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button so we could keep kicking button every week for you here on the Duval Dive. Of course, I'm Kyle Nass, a student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my coverage and writings on the UCF Knights on Locked On UCF, as well as my work covering the UFL and the Orlando Storm on the Storm Surge podcast, as well as my work writing on the Orlando Magic Central on 1010XL.com. Champion. It's good to pronounce hope for once. What can I say? So, for my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, this is Kyle Nash, the student of the game. For all you Duval divers who keep it rolling like you do in the comments and keep us coming back for more. Until next time, everyone. Class dismiss.